Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a SWOT analysis. And as you can see from the screen, it's talking about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So SWOT analysis is the tool for auditing an organization and its environment. It is the first stage of planning and helps to focus on key issues. It can also be used in goal setting to help you identify goals that will give you the most benefit. It's a way of matching your internal capabilities, resources, and liabilities with the external factors you are facing. And so, as I mentioned before, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal factors. Opportunities and threats are external factors. So, when you're performing a SWOT analysis, you start by identifying your strengths, which represent your internal capabilities and your resources. Now, here are some of the questions you can use to help you get started. Number one, what are your core competencies? Number two, what relevant skills, talents, or abilities do you or the people in your program have? Three, what do others see as your strengths? And then four, what do you do well? Now, keep in mind that not all of these questions will apply, so just use the ones that make sense to help you identify your strengths. And then you can also ask, what unique resources do you have at your disposal? What specialized knowledge or expertise do you have access to? Who can you ask for advice, support, or help? And what special tools can you use or develop? And then what is already working well in this area, and what related strengths does this reveal? So there's a lot of different questions that you can ask when you are looking for your strengths. Like I mentioned before, you don't have to ask all of them, but you can choose which ones you ask, and you might have other ones that you're thinking about. So the next thing is to identify your weaknesses, which represent your internal liabilities. In many cases, the lack of strength or a lack of a strength or resource can be considered a weakness. So you would want to list all of the relevant skills, abilities, and talents that you would find helpful. Which ones are you the least good or the least proficient at? Then when you're identifying your weaknesses, also think about what are others likely to see as weaknesses. So you would list the specialized knowledge or expertise that you would find helpful, and then any knowledge or expertise that you lack would be considered a weakness. Now, your strengths and your weaknesses give you an idea of your internal capabilities, resources, and liabilities. Are there any resources like time, money, or help that you currently don't have access to? Then think about what is not working in this area right now, and what related weaknesses does that reveal? So for the O in the SWOT analysis is opportunities. The next step in SWOT analysis is to identify your external opportunities for profit, for growth, and improvement. Here are some ideas to help you identify them. List the opportunities that you have been considering. What things could you improve? Think of one thing you could do that would significantly improve your situation. What important goals could you pursue? Then also address, how can you take advantage of your strengths? What trends could you take advantage of? Can you take advantage of any changes in your environment or circumstance? And what opportunities would become available to you if you eliminate some of your weaknesses? So last, we have the threats. So looking at the threats, you need to make a list of serious risks you are facing if you continue along your current path. And think about what obstacles or roadblocks are impeding your progress. What threats do your weaknesses expose you to? And think about, what is your competition? Then, are there any environmental factors that are affecting you negatively? And then think about how current changes to your environment or circumstances could affect you negatively. So the whole point of doing a SWOT analysis is to help you identify the most beneficial targets and strategies to pursue right now based on your current situation, and to identify strategies that will help you prepare for your future or for the future. You do this by analyzing the 4 quadrants of the SWOT matrix. The 4 SWOT quadrants provide different perspectives to help you identify targets and strategies. Over the long term, you should include goals from each of the 4 quadrants for balance. In the short term, you may want to focus on 1 or 2 quadrants to take advantage of any circumstances you are currently facing. So when you look at the S quadrant, strength, you look at strength to maximize. The O quadrant, opportunities to pursue. The T quadrant, threats to eliminate. And W quadrant, things to improve. So, one word of caution. SWOT analysis are very subjective, so don't rely on them too much. 2 people rarely come up with the same final version of a SWOT analysis, so use it as a guide and not a prescription. But at the same time, be realistic about the strengths and weaknesses of your organization. Your analysis should distinguish between where your organization is today and where it could be in the future. Be very specific and avoid any gray areas. Keep your SWOT short and simple, and avoid complexity and over-analysis. And so I want to make sure that you can see, if you're interested, here's a resource that we use to create this SWOT analysis. And so if you're interested, you can check that out.